Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over and doing a tutorial with the new Viseart Neutral Matte 2 palette. This just came in the mail today and I immediately sat down and was like, yes, I have to play in it. Muse Beauty Pro sent this over to me, so thank you to them. I was so excited when I saw that this was coming out. The Viseart matte palettes in general are some of my absolute favorites. I will be comparing the new 2 to the original and the warm matte, so you will see that later on in the video. But first, we're gonna get into the details of the brand new one. It is available right now exclusively at Muse Beauty Pro. It retails for $80, just like all the other ones of this size. And if you are pro at Muse Beauty Pro, you can get it for $64. The palette contains 11 brand new shades and then one shade from the Grande Pro 1 palette. The number 12 shade is in here. Now I do have some notes on this palette and it says that shade number 3 was inspired by shade number 5 in the Theory Siren palette. But the one in here has more pigment and more of a red-pink undertone. While I show you guys the swatches, I'm going to read just a little bit more information. The concept behind this palette descends from the iconic 01 Neutral Mattes palette, which was inspired by the concept of milieu, a centeredness in one's environment. A palette created by the harmonious shades that surround us that pairs perfectly with the 01 palette. And then just in case you're wondering, these shades do pop out, so if you want to take them out and put them in another palette or even interchange them with one of your other palettes, you can do so. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into this eye look and then I will give you guys my thoughts and the comparisons. Zoeva 227 in the very first shade in the palette. I am going to start this on the outer portion of the crease, bringing it inward. I'm going to blend on the outer corner and bring it upwards. I will be bringing this shade inward, but I want to focus it mainly on this outer portion and really bringing it up pretty high. And in case anybody's wondering, I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. That's what I use to prime my eyes today. I have the Viseart primer, but I haven't used it yet and I don't want to do it with a new palette. So that's why I didn't use it today. I do need to try it out though. This is blending out very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and bring that shade on the lower lash line with my Wayne Goss number 19. Reaching back into the palette, I'm going to grab this shade right here on my original 227 from Zoeva. Starting on the very outer corner. Tap that into place. And then bring it into the crease. And blend it upwards just lightly. Rougher number 3, same shade, and I'm just taking this right up against the lower lash line. No additional product, but I'm going to blend out the edges with the Wayne Goss number 19. Esom W21, I'm going to go in with this yellowish shade right here. I am going to apply this to the lid. I'm going to tap over the last shade. Going back in with the 227 from Zoeva. No additional product. I'm just going right around the edges on the crease. Make sure everything is nice and blended. Sonia G Crease 2 and this shade right here. I'm going to start by applying this right to the outer corner. I'd already started this side because Diesel was barking at FedEx, so I felt like I didn't want to waste time. I'm just stamping this into place and then working it right into the crease right above where I laid it down. Back in with the Wayne Gas number 19, and I'm going to grab the blue shade, and I am tapping this on the very outer corner. I'm going to bring it slightly into this crease right here, kind of making a little V shape, but I'm not going to bring it upward. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of this shade. Just going to tap that right beside it. Going back for the Esom W21, and this is the warm matte palette, I'm going to take this shade right here. And I'm going to highlight my brow arch. I'm doing this very lightly. I don't want to add too much product. And cleaning everything up. There's just not a light enough shade to do this in the other palette. Now back in with the Neutral Mattes 2, Rephr number 3, and I'm going to grab the dark purple shade. I am just going to stamp this right on the outer half of my lash line. Then I'm going to go add liner and mascara. To finish off the look, all I did was apply some mascara, and then I have Boss Milk Liner on the top inner rim. I also added a little bit of like my nose highlight right to the inner corner right here. I didn't want it to be as bright as my actual highlight, so I just used my By Terry powder and put it just right on the inner corner right there. So before I get into my thoughts, I want to go ahead and get into the comparisons, and I'm going to start off with the original one. This is the 01 Neutral Mattes palette. This is the OG right here. This is what made me fall in love with the Viseart matte shadows. All right, so I'm going to show you on camera, but then I'm also going to show you a picture and swatches so you guys can actually see the differences. So here these are side by side, and then here is the picture reference. And then I have the Warm Mattes palette, which I think is what most people were comparing it to. Here those are side by side, and now for a picture reference again. For my thoughts, I definitely think that you are going to have some similarities, like with the warm mattes right here. These are not like identical by any means, but you do have like the brown shades on this one here are definitely not as like this. Like, let me show you like this shade and this shade right here. If you can see, this one definitely has more of a camel undertone than this one. This one's definitely more neutral. So it's little things like that, like little tweaks that are happening with this palette. And then you obviously have the pops of the blue, and then there's this purpley pink shade right here. And then with the original one, I feel like these are just different. These are really different. Let me see the closest shades. When I am looking at these, especially in person, I'm not seeing any two shades that I really can put up against each other than like maybe the first one, which really aren't the same either. You can see this one's much deeper, this one's much lighter, and this one has more of a peachy undertone. The orangey shades, you can see again, there's a difference. So it's just like the description reads, these pair up really nicely. And I really think that it pairs up really nicely with the warm mattes as well. I mean, it just looks like a beautiful palette. You get all three together and you're just like a happy camper, let me tell you. What I really love about this palette is that I feel like I can do more looks, whereas with the other two, you're definitely going to get like an all over warm look or an all over smoky or natural look. But I love the blue and the shade in here, and even this one right here. I just feel like you're going to have more of a variety of looks with this. And then I love how this pairs with the other palettes without it really having shades that are the same. And I'm sorry, I'm sitting here wiping off my hands because I have stuff all over them. I'm not wearing pants that I can just like wipe my hands on. Now, speaking on blendability, pigmentation, quality, all of that, I feel like these shadows blended out beautifully and effortlessly. Pigmentation was definitely there, and I really like that you can layer these up. I feel like I have a lot going on this outer corner, like shade after shade after shade being layered upon each other. And sometimes with lower quality or thinner shadows, you can get a little bit of like that patchiness, and that did not happen. I feel like I got the look that I was looking for, and I love how it came together. I just think it's beautiful. These are very pigmented. I did get a little bit of fallout, but nothing major. I baked underneath my eye, so it was just swept it away. This does have a little bit of powder kick up in the pan. If that is something that bothers you, it's something to note. It does not bother me. I am more so concerned about what happens on my eyes. I really enjoyed this palette. I definitely recommend it. Let me know if you're picking this up. What did you think about this eye look right here? And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.